Welcome, everybody, to the Big East Rewind. We are here at Macy's Herald Square on 34th Street for the big starter drop for starter jackets and gear. And here honoring the Big East legends from the Big East Conference, which is in town at the Garden this week. So our first legend, Sonny, our first legend is a guy that I played against. He's my age. He was playing a Providence Friar and one of the best defensive players ever to play in the Big East. He was the guy, Sonny, when if you knew that Harold was guarding you.
That was a compliment.
Yeah, well, you knew you weren't going to score. You were going to have to get an assist. I'm sorry, you couldn't score on Harold. He was tough.
Give and go, get later, right?
And now he's involved with the university and with the, Providence College, and he's in the AD's office. The great Harold Starks. How are you, Harold?
I'm great, Chuck. Thanks for the introduction.
Absolutely.
We worked on that.
We spent a lot of time on that. I'm just letting you know. So as you know, now we really are professional journalists, Sonny. Look at this setup that we got today.
Unbelievable. Mike,
cool.
Did you see the cut thing? Did you see
I
that?
saw it.
Check 1, 2. We're rolling.
Pretty good. It's better than the garage and your kitchen, right?
This is as close as I'm going to get to Broadway, man.
Close as it gets. So a guy growing up in New York City, Harold, talk to us about what it's like to play at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena. You got to spend time there against the Johnnies, of course, and, of course, in the Big East tournament. Talk about what that was like.
Yeah, so, again, coming up in New York, playing city ball as a youngster, you were playing back then what was called Citywide, and also we had the Summer League Rucker Tournament. And so I had actually played in Madison Square Garden as a youngster. Not really knowing what was going on. You're like 10, 12 years old, running around in the Garden. And the thing that I remember most about that was not the game so much, because I don't remember if we won or lost, because we played against Riverside Church a lot. So, but I remember the photos of all the people that played in the Garden, all the people that had concerts there. And I was like a little kid in the candy store just walking downstairs in the bowels of the Garden, where you can still smell where the elephants had been.
Yeah.
All right. So, but those photos, that was it for me on New York, and I got to see the photos of Clyde and Reed and Earl Monroe and all the greats from back in the day.
All those great Knicks, and like you said, the rock stars, the concerts that happened, all the events that have happened at Madison Square Garden. But as a kid, as you're playing in the parks, do you think about that kind of stuff, like one day getting to the Garden? Was that a thing for you?
No, again, because it was something you did when you made the playoffs. You played in the Garden. So a kid from the city, if you were playing, it was just something you got to do. Not until later in life when you realize how special it was to play in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Because
so many other kids never got that opportunity ever, even in their college careers. So you had to wait until you made the NBA to play in the Garden. So, but I'm going around telling people, I was 12 years old and I was running up and down the Garden, which, again, I was young and I didn't realize how special it was, but I do today, and fond memories of playing.
Do you have a favorite memory of something that happened in Madison Square?
Playing against one of my best friends growing up, a guy by the name of Bruce Dalrymple. We were like brothers growing up. If you saw Bruce, you saw me. And we played against each other because Bruce was playing with Riverside Church. So it's kind of fun to play against him in the Garden that way when we were young kids. So one of my favorite memories. And I'm pretty sure we won that game. So,
how about coming out of the tunnel, which is no longer there, walking onto the court out of the locker rooms?
Yeah.
Where Willis Reed came down.
Yes.
The captain, injured.
Yes.
Right. I mean, the memory of that still sticks with me, and being able to do that myself was a treasure for me. How about yourself?
Oh, we know the tunnel is great, but the best part of coming into the Garden is the players' entrance.
Yeah.
And going down that elevator, which is the same. The same elevator that the elephants were on and all the animals. And
you knew that.
Those gates, those gates, so, I used to watch my teammates who had never been in the Garden.
Yeah.
When they walked in and they walked in the back and got in that elevator, they're like, this is the garden and this is the elevator. Like, yeah, this is a special elevator. You know, you can't get rid of this elevator. And so that's one memory I have of going into the garden, coming into the players' entrance. Absolutely.
Talk about going to Providence College and being there. You really, truly made that your home. I mean, basically, you haven't left. You went in there in 1982 as a freshman, right?
Correct.
And except for a short stint with a spot at Hofstra, which we got to hang out a little more when you were on the island with me.
Yeah.
So you basically have never left. Talk about what that love of that university, that college is like.
Yeah, again, some of my best years growing up playing basketball at Providence, and the friends I met while I was there. And, you know, like other places too, we always say, once a Friar, always a Friar. And it's something
You epitomize
special
that.
Yeah, he
about
does.
the Friar family. So I think I fooled a few people, and they hired me. And I've been there now 18 years, which is
Wow.
special. 18 years.
That
Yep.
is special.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I get compared to you a lot, or vice versa. We're called the glue
How does
guys.
that happen, Chuck?
Well, you know what?
I'm not sure.
I was
I'm
never a
trying to figure it
defensive
out.
I think
guy
you
like
guys look
at all.
alike.
Okay.
But I would tell you this. They call me the glue guy at Villanova, and you're the glue guy at Providence. You keep the alumni together. You keep
Yep.
Right.
everything rolling in the same direction.
Yeah.
Talk about what kind of chore is that, and how did that happen for you? You know, I know a little bit about what you guys do. Talk about what you do with your organization and with the Friars to bring everybody together like that.
Sure. So, and I think, Chuck, much like you, that's who we are, right? So I always kept in touch with my teammates over the years.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a role that I took on when I got to Providence from scratch. When I got there, I already had everybody's phone numbers. So it was very easy for me to reach out to the guys and get them to come back. And after a while, you know, we had a few summers where the guys came back for reunions. I thought it was time to start a nonprofit. So my nonprofit at Providence College is called Friends of Friar Basketball.
Yep.
And it's a great organization. It's former Friars and friends of the program. And our mission is come back to give back. So we have Friars, they come back. We do a lot of community service stuff. And, you know, it's also an organization that we help out former Friars who may, you know, fall on hard times. So I'm very proud of that part of the organization, you know, because a lot of players think that college or university can help out, which they can't. But my nonprofit, we can help out guys, and it's truly a blessing to be able to do that.
Yeah, and you do a good job of it. I mean, one of the events, and you know, I don't know if you invited Big Otis to the event. It didn't seem like he was on the boat with you guys, but I know you had a big event where you had all the coaches come back.
Yeah.
And Coach Barnes, who was sick with COVID, I believe,
Yep.
did a video screen.
Yep.
Came back. Talk about that event, because I thought that was awesome.
Yes.
To have that many alums
That was
come
impressive.
back.
Yeah,
right?
that was impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that at Villanova to some degree, but that was way above and beyond.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
blew it up.
You know,
Yeah.
it really was great, man.
It was something that just came about, I think, with about, I would say, 3 weeks before the summer reunion. Ed Cooley at the time was the head coach. He just said, you know what, H, why don't we get all the former coaches to come back?
Yeah.
I'm good with the former players. Former coaches, that's usually not something that happens. And I tell you, we called every living former coach. They all said yes.
That's great.
A couple couldn't make it because of other reasons, but to see all of those guys on the stage, and you know, we call it a coaches roundtable, and they were just chatting, and an unbelievable event. The one drawback that people say was there just wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
They could have sat there for hours and listened to the stories. So a little fact checking was going on with Google, but you know, so. But other than that, what an event! And we followed it up the next day with a cruise. All of the alum, all the coaches, we got on a cruise together, and it was a special weekend.
Leave them wanting more, Harold.
Yes.
Leave them wanting more.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people got to know the history of the Providence Friars
Yep.
too. I mean, you don't really. Some schools, or you could say like the North Carolinas of the world or the Dukes of the world. You could say all these great players that they had, and
The Blue Bloods.
the Blue Bloods and stuff like that. They talk Blue Bloods. But you guys have an incredible history that no one really knows about, and things like that are enable you to
Yep.
celebrate that history
Yep.
and bring everybody back together. I just think it's great, and I think that more teams should really do that kind of stuff because it's great for the program. It makes the alums feel good about themselves,
Yep.
and when they feel good about themselves, they feel good about the program.
Yeah, and as we all know, times have changed, and they will continue
yeah.
to change. So, one of the things that we know about, we've had teammates for 3-4 years,
Right.
at the same institution. Things like that are changing as we go forward in the new NCAA climate. So, reunions will start to look different.
Right, right.
Senior days are already starting to look different. Some guys have already had 3 senior days.
Right.
Because they've been all over the place. So the 4-year student athlete at one institution, 3-year student athlete, those are going to be rare.
Going to be a unicorn.
Yeah, but I know for us, it was very important. That's why we are so close to our teammates. 4 years rooming with Chuck. Something
That's tough.
special.
That's tough on anybody.
Something special, but
We all bury our cross,
Yeah,
We all
we
bury
do. So
Yep. Well, listen, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate your time as always. I know you're a busy guy, and
Thanks, Earl.
unfortunately, last night wasn't your night, but
Yep.
you got a bright future. That team is going to be really, really good down the road. You got a
Appreciate it.
great young coach, and we love his passion, right, Sonny? I mean, we
Yep.
talked about that with Otis. We love a guy's passion. Love how he
Love the
how he's out
connection.
there, and the connection he has with his players
Yep.
is
Yep.
great. So
Yep.
and you had some key injuries that those guys will be coming back. So
yeah.
the future looks bright for the Providence Friars.
The future looks bright for the Big East. The future looks bright for starter gear that's just been dropped.
Right? Yep.
Not sure if I get to keep this jacket on, but what you guys do is tremendous as well.
Yeah, thank you.
I do it from an institution standpoint, but you guys do it for the entire conference. And I know there's a bunch of guys waiting to be interviewed, but
They are, yeah.
we're all family, even though we didn't play for each other.
It's true.
We know each other. We remember each other. So keep doing what you guys are doing. It's important, to keep the Big East out there and to keep all the older guys now involved. So really appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Harold
Harold.
Starks, ladies and
Harold
gentlemen.
Starks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's wrap with this one last question. We're here for starter. We're here for the drop for the jackets and everything and all the gear. What's your starter story?
Listen, I'm here being a promotion guy today, I guess what you want to call it. So I got my Giants hat on
Yep.
because I'm a New Yorker, and I love the Giants. So this is for my guy, Carl Banks. My starter jacket story is from when I was at Hofstra University, and starters was big back then. And I remember at the time the football coach, he had a jacket on, and so did the other assistant coaches. And I was an administrator, and I said, "That's a nice jacket," and they gave me a look like, "This is football, not basketball." And I said, "Man, one day I want one of those jackets." And fast forward, not rewind, 30-something years later, I got a starter jacket on.
There you go.
So that's my starter story.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging with us, man.
Thanks.
Thanks again, Chuck.
Bye-bye.
Sonny, thank you.